Aloha, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls with yours truly, me, Delicate Blood. So here we're fighting the boss of the Dark Root Garden. Now, if you're in human form, there is a very easy thing to help you out. Hidden in these little bushes here, there is a hidden summon sign of an NPC known as Witch Beatrice. Just like in the Gargoyle fight where you could summon Knight Solaire to be an aid to you, Witch Beatrice here will make this fight much easier on you, so make sure that you are aware of that. You'll also see that I switched, for those of you who are following me, to this round Cicadas shield, and the reason why is that it has a higher magic defense than both the Balder Side shield, which I was using, and the Grass Crest shield. Now, physical defense in this game, in this particular fight, is worthless, as well as this armor set here that I'm wearing, which I got, which if you're not sure, go to my videos and watch how to get the Dusk set. This is also going to help me out greatly. I'm not planning on using any of my spells, miracles, or pyromancies on this boss, so I'm going to find whatever piece of armor here has a high magic defense to it, which is going to be my gargoyle helm, apparently. Go figure. Interesting. That actually has a high magic defense, but it makes you more susceptible to magic damage, so that's why I'm not using that. But this gargoyle helm is going to be most effective here. For those of you who do not remember, I got this round Cicadas shield in the graveyard. It was down immediately to your left, down a small stairwell, and it's guarded by 2 skeletons, so good luck on getting that. But you're going to want it for this boss, as well as Witch Beatrice, which makes this boss fight go much smoother. So there we see the name is called the Moonlight Butterfly, but I don't see anything. Well, the Moonlight Butterfly is above you and flies down. Now, Witch Beatrice will actually stay rather close to you, so what you want to do is kind of go face-to-face with this Moonlight Butterfly, who is a spellcasting boss. And you're just going to want to keep your guard up as much as possible, keep as much stamina up as well. But the key to this fight is actually just having enough magic defense. And Witch Beatrice, you will see, is going to cast some spells, doing some much-needed damage for you. I also have my lightning pine resin for this moment, is that if you wait long enough, the Moonlight Butterfly will just come up straight into your face. And if you have a high damage weapon, as well as some pine resin of any kind, fire, lightning, whatever, can make that boss incredibly simple. Now, something I'm actually regretting, because the boss didn't show it off, was that it actually has a giant, 2 giant attacks. Number one is when it comes in for a landing like that, the butterfly is resting, and then it will start to glow, in which it will do a giant AoE blast radius, much like Forced looks. It'll look basically like that and have about the same range, and you can see where it's connecting with the walls. It's not a very far range, but it will go up to, like, from that crack to, like, this little divot here. So you do want to be careful that that blast doesn't hit you while you're doing some melee damage to it, especially if you're playing in subsequent playthroughs. The other big attack that it has is it will shoot this thing that kind of looks like a mist at you, and it looks like there's 3 of them that are targeting you. You're definitely going to want to block that. If you do not block that, that will probably be the attack that that boss will kill you with. Nothing else that boss does should be that impressive as long as you have your shield up and you're facing it. You can hit it with spells, miracles, pyromancies, and arrows. However, in doing so, you leave yourself vulnerable to attacks from it. I recommend melee versus that boss. I find that boss very, very easy. Melee style, especially if you use pine resins, or some certain type of weapon enchantments at all. And that boss is basically weak to anything. You can use fire swords, lightning swords, magic swords, unique weapons, anything you really have in your arsenal, that boss will take a lot of damage from. So here you come up to the top, and we see this frozen statue here, or whatever it's supposed to be. But we get the Watchtower Basement Key. We also get a Divine Ember, and a Homeward Bone. Now remember, I said from every boss we will be getting a Humanity, along with a Homeward Bone. Now the fastest way would actually just be to use the Homeward Bone, and that would take us back to a bonfire that we've already accessed, which is pretty far back, although I am going to hoof it back. No particular... Actually, yeah, there is no particular reason at all. I am not going to hoof it back. I am going to use the Homeward Bone. This is also the first boss where we get its soul. Now, souls can be used for a number of things. Specifically in this game, I need to think for a moment before I'm wrong. Yes, because I was about to say something wrong. Souls can be used for a few things, and the most obvious thing you can use them for is weapon ascension. Now, we currently do not have the blacksmith in our repertoire, or the weapons prepared in such a manner to upgrade anything for ascension. Otherwise, I would show that off. Because of that, we are not going to use the soul. We're just going to keep it in our inventory. And there is something else that you can do with the souls as well. So I do want to keep that soul on me for now, because I will show off the differences there. So now we're just going to run back to Andre. What am I playing? Oh, I'm playing with the rapier. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. Not that it's actually a big deal, but... And it works out fine for us. There we go, we got the third moss clump, which is a blooming moss clump. Now, for anybody wondering what a blooming moss clump is, I'm actually going to leave... Oh, shoot. I'm actually going to leave this gargoyle helm on just to give us some type of defenses, and since this character is not going to be a spellcaster, there's no reason to make myself 20% more susceptible to damage, and I'm not really needing to heal myself for more than I'm currently healing. I actually don't have enough points into vitality. We're going to go first visit Andre, and then I'm actually going to show what that basement watchtower key is for, because in a sense that opens up a shortcut. However, we have the master key, which I've made reference to this before, and that, in a sense, does kind of open up a shortcut on how we're supposed to get back. Again, if you've not killed the Titanite Demon, if you just simply sprinted past him, what I would recommend is coming over to this side of the room, because I did not show this off. But you can sprint down the length of this room, and right now I'm actually slightly over-encumbered, so I'm going to have to upgrade my endurance. You can tell by the way that your leg movements move how encumbered you are. But now that we have a Divine Ember, let's give it to Andre.
My, that's a rare ember you have there. I've seen one of those before. It's the ember of a divine blacksmith. Might you consider leaving that with me? I could produce divine weapons with a flame such as that.
So you can say yes or no. There's no advantage to saying no. I don't know why you would ever say no.
Well, thanks for that. You've made a fine decision. You soon shall see.
So here we can see that he will, if we have green Titanite shards, upgrade our sword to a divine Uchikatana. Now, what are the advantages to this? Well, divine weapons have a few advantages. Number one, instead of just doing pure physical damage, we do lose some physical damage, but it's replaced by magic damage. And this magic damage comes as a stat scale off of our faith attribute. Although we do lose our dexterity bonus from a B, it goes down to a D, which is kind of harsh. However, it does remain its bleeding effect, and now we also get what's called divine damage, which does a little bit more damage to skeletons. So if you're looking for a weapon to get you through that graveyard area, divine weapons will be your best friend. Before I personally go through that graveyard, I will be showing off where you can find a divine weapon of your own. That way you're not wasting your time grinding and upgrading a weapon just to do that. Although I personally will be grinding off screen and upgrading a weapon to do that area, which is going to be specifically tailored for just getting me through that area very quickly, and what I would encourage for that area. The other thing is here... Actually, that's it. That's all I have on Divine Weapons. Divine Weapons also have another, like, little hidden ability, but I won't talk about that just yet. No need to repair equipment, no need to buy anything from me, so I'll leave.
I'll be seeing you then. Be careful out there.
Alright, so at the moment I want 14 Faith and 14 Intelligence. So we're going to first focus on that. Let's level up. 14 Faith, that way I have that Great Heal Excerpt, which is just going to make things easier on me. And then 14 Intelligence, that way I can cast that Repair spell. So I'm actually going to get the 14 Intelligence first. We're then going to attune Magic, go over to this, and we're going to switch off
force with repair. Now, repair only has one charge, so if you're ever curious, like, oh, well, why would somebody want this if, you know, you only have one use behind it? Well, just remember that if you rest at a bonfire, so there's all of our equipment restored, but if you rest at a bonfire, bam, you have another repair, so you can repair countless times. And then all you have to do is attune magic and take it off, and you can go around doing anything else you want. So for this next area, where am I going? I'm going there. Chameleon won't be helpful. Hidden Body will be helpful, and Hidden Weapon won't be really worthwhile. So I'll take Hidden Body with me for the time being. Now remember, to cast a spell, which is what we're currently casting, a sorcery, you have to have a wand. In order to cast a miracle, you have to have a talisman. And obviously you can't, you know, use those both to their advantages. So you got to be careful about when... Oh, so is that glowing coming from that poise ring I'm wearing? Is that what's making me glow? So I've been noticing people glow in multiplayer. Okay, there's actually one last thing I want to show off in this video, and then I will probably cut for tonight, because I want to keep at a good solid pace on this game. I'm going to do about like a boss or two per night. But just remember that enemies do respawn after you rest at bonfires, so you do want to be very careful about running through certain areas, that you don't want to be deceived and just running recklessly through areas that you've already been through, thinking that everything is going to be dead, because resting at a bonfire means that, yeah, everything's going to respawn. So I'm going to show off a little secret area, although I will not be doing it for a little bit. And it's just personal preference. You can do this area whenever you please. I've done it on a file when I was like level 11, because I got up to this elevator and was like, oh hey, I can go do the secret area instead. So I went and did the secret area. But as you can see, as you come down the lift, there's a little ledge here that you can walk off to. Now, I find it much easier to do from this other elevator, which sometimes that might mean that you have to take one elevator up or one elevator down and then run all the way up and around. The easier way, though, is just to do that, is just to walk off. And if you're not certain of yourself, like let's say you're not sure about yourself, going down is probably the easier way of doing it. However, if you go up the elevator, you can just kind of keep running straight into the wall, and you won't have to worry about any fall damage. But here is something cute that the game does, is that if you did notice this, there's an item up on top of that building. Now, there's no clear visible way on how to get up to that building. However, with some clever ingenuity, you can walk around up here. There you can see the graveyard, so we're back down at Firelink Shrine. There's where some hidden weapons were. But if you line yourself up with this beam, and as long as you roll at it, you do not have to do a running jump. If you roll at it, your character will pretty much adhere to it very quickly. It's a really weird programming thing that they did, but I really like it. But you can get up here to where we can see a nice view of the crow. And you can come up here, and I'm going to show off the how to get to this secret area, but again, this video is not going to be what's in that secret area. That will be another video all of its own, and I will show off how to get back up here. But if you curl up like a ball, that crow will take you somewhere. So, that is the hidden area. And if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this item I'm going to pick up, because that item I'm about to pick up down there may or may not say what's for that area. So I don't want that spoiled for people, since if you're watching this video... Actually, you know what? I'll just leave that item there. I'll have it be suspenseful, and when I go to do that area, I'll pick it up then, rather than spoil it. Now, there is a few safe ways off this. The number one safe way is to go that way. That's probably your safest way. The second safe way is to go off this way, because there is a little ledge there to catch you, and that's probably most consistently the ledge I use. If you want a dangerous way, you can either jump off this. You will not. It looks like a ridiculously far drop, and pretty much anywhere else in the game, if you drop from this far, you would die for some reason. This area, they do not make you die. But you can also fall through this crack as well, and you'll take a good chunk of your life from doing so. But if you do, look who we found!
Oh, hello. Miracles, I presume? Yes, I know.
Not even remotely phased by us flying down from the sky. Now, he has no miracles left to sell us, so the only thing left that we can buy from him is talismans. Now, I originally bought one of these talismans from him because I thought that I didn't have it, and I was wrong. That's a talisman you get from the chest. I bought the Thurlin talisman as well.
Come again?
Now, if you're wondering about certain things, this Thurlin talisman and this Ulasil Ivory Catalyst, both will start off with 180 base magic adjustment, and then as you can see, the stat scaling for them is a C. And it's the same thing with this Thurlin one. Okay, it's not as prevalent. It's actually not 180, I thought it was, but it's 165. But it has a C rating, so I consider them to be the same thing. Even though that's not true at all, because one's a talisman, one's a catalyst. However, they have a very high base, so if you are looking to be able to cast spells and miracles, because pyromancies are based off of something else, so if you're looking to be able to cast spells and miracles, but you don't want to invest a lot of points into intelligence or faith, these would be the two items that you use in order to do that. If you just want to be able to cast things but not use them to their full effectiveness, you would use these two. If you're building a character based on faith or intelligence, these two items are actually going to be your worst items. Like, they'll be fine until you get like up to, like, let's say 20 into faith or intelligence, and then you'll notice the stat scaling will be very diminished, and that there's better items that I have yet to show off. Like, this talisman will have a better stat scaling than this Thurlin talisman. Alright, so I need to show off a shortcut, which, like an idiot, I just realized it's actually all the way back up where Andre is. So, we need to go sprint all the way back up to Andre. Oh, that's another thing I forgot. Yeah, so if you take this elevator down, and let's say you would rather use this elevator for that little secret area I just showed you, just step on this one, jump off of it down here where it's nice and safe, and then this one will be down here, which is a much easier way to jump off of, because as you can see, the platform isn't all crumbled in front of it. But just make sure that you don't fall to your death, that you don't jump from too high of a height, just in case, and always just keep an eye and monitor your health on the check. Oh my gosh, I was going to cut the video there, and then I just remembered the key, and I need to go do that. And it'll be a much better way to end off the episode if I go do this now. Even though it's actually a bit of a hike, so I apologize. I will actually re-equip my shield to make it a little bit more bearable on you. I'm sorry. Thank you for hanging in there. But we're going to sprint all the way back to Andre. I don't think we've taken like any damage, so we don't need to repair anything. Rest at the bonfire, why not? Just get our health back up to full. As you can see, I'm down to 1 humanity. I'm personally not too concerned with humanity in my playthrough of this game. If you're more concerned about humanity, save it for when you get comfortable getting up to the boss door. Obviously, you're not always going to know which fog gate is the boss door. If you're watching this guide, you will know which one's the boss door. But work on getting up to the boss door without having to use too many heals, along with... I'm sorry, I'm spacing out. Without using too many heals, and then try going human, rather than just going human all the time. Or, if you're human, look for soul signs and invite them to play with you to help you get to that boss door without taking much damage, but just be careful, because obviously if you're playing online, there is a small chance that you can be invaded. So here, that guy's actually going to be coming after me for quite some time, and a cute little trick that you can do is if you stand here, he'll jump off and kill himself for you, so you don't even have to worry about him if you stand there. But now we're going to sprint all the way to a back door, and I would actually consider this the more dangerous door to enter from, but this does open up a shortcut, and there is a very, very powerful ring that you can get, which is going to be very useful for you early in the game, especially if you have some of the equipment I have. Obviously, some of the things I've gotten lucky on, like the Balder Side Shield, was extremely lucky, but as I showed off, you can buy that heater shield, which will do just the same job. That's actually probably what I would recommend more than anything for this next area. In terms of spells and miracles and whatnot, I actually don't really recommend any. I would not really count on them for this, because you could get yourself into a lot of trouble. But here's a door. Now, this door can be opened with the master key from either direction, either coming down this tower to this doorway, or going up this tower into this doorway. This Grass Crest shield should be able to block what you're about to fight. I would not depend on it. I would much rather depend on my Balder Side shield, or that heater shield, or even the Night shield. Anything with 100% physical block, oh shoot, is crucial. And this guy, I don't even know where he came from, so let's take care of him as quickly as I'm capable of. No crystal splash attack for me. I have no idea where that guy came from. I'm really annoyed that he even heard me. But I will show off the spell Hidden Body here, and it does not work. Once an NPC sees you, it doesn't really work against them. But some of the more enemies like that, you can lose sight. They can lose you if you run away. Now be careful. So when you're using spells like Hidden Body like this, as you can see, I'm about 50% transparent. And of all the times for you to mess up. All the freaking times. Is it fixed? No, it's not fixed.